Hello and welcome to our Thursday 30. I'm Nick Davis from Liberator and I'm the regional consultant for the South of England. And today we're going to be looking at join-in apps and accessible apps for Empower on the Accent range of devices from Liberator. So I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, and I'm going to hide my video. And here we've got a cursor on the screen as well. So the main purpose of this training or presentation is to go through our new Empower software and to talk around the accessible apps, the integration with web browser, and have a look at some infrared controls. Now, Empower has been rewritten or has been written from the ground up, so it is completely different to the previous version of software that we had on our Accent range of devices. Now, we still offer New Voice as a product and a software program. However, Empower is our latest software for that platform. So what you'll notice is a few things. The look and feel of Empower is very, very different to previous software. Here we have a new multi-bar and we have a battery indicator with percentage sign. You've got time and date, volume controls for speaker and headphones, and also an indicator to which access method has been selected. So here I've got a switch and I'll go through how that can be changed. As and when we turn on some other features, they're going to appear on this bar as well. And if my device was out of date in terms of the software, we would also have a purple exclamation mark here, which would just indicate that the software update needs to be run. So it's a nice visual indicator for you. The vocabulary that I'm using here is Easy Chat Phrases 36 PCS. And this is really a combination of a core-based vocabulary with access to pre-stored phrases here as well. And the idea behind this is that somebody can create phrases very easily from using this home screen. So to do that, I would do I like it.
I like it.
And then I can go into my phrases and I can press menu, save message, and define where I want that to be saved. So here you're prompted, select where you want to save the message. So I'm just going to choose that particular button there. And that will save the text that you've produced in the message window and allow you very quick access to those frequently used phrases in the future. So if I now clear that and go into phrases, we can see that I've got that here. Now, this is very useful when we are using these integrated apps. This allows us to predefine words or phrases that we want to say to someone using that app. And we can use our AAC vocabulary to be able to send that via different platforms. So I'm going to go into the menu. And the first thing you might notice is that the menu structure is very, very different as well. So across this top bar, we've got various options. We've got an editor, so we can customize our vocabulary. We've got vocabulary builder if you're using Unity or LAMP Words for Life. You have a go back button. We just had a look at the save message feature. You have a power button that's accessible for an individual, volume controls, access to the desktop, access to the toolbox where we'll look at. You do have a go home button. So if I'm not on my home screen, I can access this menu button and very quickly get back. But I also have a modify shortcuts feature here as well, which allows me to define which of these options I want to appear in my menu. Now, if we were using this with an eye gaze individual, we may move this up to here and tracking to here. I'll show you how that works here. So let's remove power from this bar and save message for the time being. And I'm just going to utilize some of this space. So I click here and choose what I want to put there. And that's really nice to only give access to the settings that we want to make available for that individual. Once you're happy with that, you can then press save. And we're going to pop into the toolbox and have a look here. I may look at some of this later on if we get time, but the main focus of this particular presentation is to look at the applications feature here. So I'm going to change my access method to touch very quickly. And inside of that, I've got various options. I mentioned earlier about the multi-bar. That had a switch on there previously. It now has a finger pointing, so touch. And that's just a nice indicator so you can see what the access method has been set to. So I'm going to go back into my toolbox. There are various options in user settings, inside of vocabulary settings, system settings, and then applications here that we can look at. So I'm going to start by launching Engage. Engage is a new software feature that we have on the Accent with Empower. And it's really designed for emergent communicators. So if I go into one that I've already created here, Cartoon Choices, the way that this works is if I hover over one of these videos, it will then play them. Then you can go back to the one that you had before. And it remembers exactly where you were in that video. And that's great for emergent eye gaze users or head tracking users that want to build up their skills for using that particular access method. You can create new activities. So I'm going to do add an activity. Let's do catch me, which is more like target practice. Here you can define the settings that you want to make available. So I'm going to have this as a 30-second activity, no dwell time. We'll have the buttons as large to start with. Let's set the background color to blue. And then we can choose which options we want to make available on our target practice. So I'm just going to choose a couple of animals here. I can then press finished. Oh, sorry, I need to name my activity. Just call that training and then press finished. So now when I go into my engage activity here for training, you can see that at the moment I'm not hovering over that. It's not making the selection. And when it does, it will then jump onto the next target to select. And again, really great for initial target practice and building up those eye gaze or head tracking skills. So I'm just going to come out of there for now. Oh, there we go. So if I go into menu and toolbox again, back into my applications, we've also got access to Tomoko, which is around 40 games at varying different levels, particularly good for eye gaze and head tracking users again. And these are all predefined, but they do record scores at the end of the game that you can produce reports of, and you can see how someone's building up their skills over a period of time, which is really nice. The next one is web browser. So I'm going to go into my web browser here. Just accept those cookies. And that's accessible via these tab links as well. So I can always tab across to accept cookies, select the link, and that will get rid of that message. So for the purpose of this, I've got a few different ways to be able to search for a website. I can press this bar at the top. I can clear that out and it searches Google. So if I just go with BBC and press go, that's going to do a Google search for me. And here I've got access to BBC. So if I'm a direct access user, I can click on that. If I'm using alternative access, if my accuracy is good, I might select and dwell on that. but alternatively, I can use these bars at the top. I can use this tab function, and I can get to the tab that I want and then press select link. I can also use that to go into varying different options here. I've also got a read mode, so it makes no activations. I can zoom in, zoom out on various different areas. And I have got page scroll turned on, which is here, so I can access this button at the bottom that allows me to scroll down. Or if I turn on section scroll, I can scroll down a whole section. For some reason, that's not popped up on this occasion. Here I have the website that I've been to. I can also access my favorites, and I can then add that as a favorite into one of these cells. So if I press add favorite, choose this blank cell, it's now appeared in my favorites list for quick access in the future. Now if I go into my favorites, I can see BBC. If I select that, that'll just go back to the main screen. I'm on that page anyway. Here I can exit the app and go back into my toolbox. If I was already in my vocabulary at that point and access the web browser, it would jump back to my vocabulary, so that's worth noting. We've got text messaging functionality. For that, you do need an Android phone with access to the Aero Text app. And you've also got IR remote controls that are built in. Again, we may look at this if we get time, but I'm just going to skip over to the web apps now. So here inside the web apps, at the moment, we've got access to 5 different apps. We have Facebook, Facebook Messenger, TikTok, WhatsApp, and YouTube. I'm going to go into YouTube. And what you'll notice here is on the left-hand side, we get a series of commands. Now, these commands allow us to access that app fully. So just like you and I can with our mobile phones or with an app on a tablet, you have exactly the same functionality inside of here. And it's done through Join-In, which is a third party that we're working with. And we are looking at releasing new apps in the coming months, and that will continue to develop as well. What you'll also notice is this is the first time I've launched Join-In on this device since rebooting. What that does, that looks for new updates, it pushes through any changes in commands, and it will ensure that these options here will continue to work. So we'll just give that a moment. And we'll come out of this and go back into it as well, so you can see how much quicker it is the second time that you do it, so it doesn't run all those updates. Perfect. So the purpose of Join-In is to make websites and different apps accessible. So if I search for a particular thing, I can either use this keyboard, so I could type in cats and finished. And without pressing anything else, that's going to search for cats for me, and it puts them inside of accessible tiles, which means that if someone's using eye gaze or head tracking or even switches, it makes it very, very easy to be able to control and access these. I'm going to go into this one here.
This simple yet brilliant trick to heat your home in 90 seconds will save thousands of pounds on your heating bill this winter. And if
Okay. So here I've got the ability to play and pause. I can turn the volume up and down. I can go into full screen mode or come out. Here you've got the ability to enable and disable these tiles. And what that allows someone to do, if you disable them, it allows you to look at them without making the selection. Once you've decided which video you'd like to look at, you can re-enable them and make the selection at that point. Down in my YouTube, you've got the ability to like and dislike videos, and kind of play around with the algorithms and suggested videos that may appear on your feed. You can subscribe to a particular channel or unsubscribe if you no longer want to watch the videos from there. You've got the ability to access liked videos, so you can go back and rewatch them, or you can add them to your watch later list here, or view your history too. Down in navigation, this allows you to fast forward a video. So you can see there that jumped 10 seconds, 10 seconds. I can jump to the middle of the video. Then I can skip to the next video if I wish, or go back to the previous video there. Okay, I'm going to pause that again. So using my search feature, I'm going to press home this time, and I'm going to search using my vocabulary. So I'm going to go into my topics and go into places, and let's have a look at cinema. And press finished. And like previously, that's going to search for cinema, suggest some tiles. I can disable that so that I don't make any accidental selections, enable it when I'm ready, and then I can make my selection as to which one I want to watch. And then use the same controls as before. I'm just going to go back down to options here. There's a few different settings here as well that you may want on and off. YouTube home, and I can go down to navigation and I can close the YouTube app there. Inside of web apps as well, you've also got app settings. So I was in the default basic option. I can change to default advanced, and all that means is that gives me more commands on that left-hand side, which means less navigation for an individual. So I'm going to go back into YouTube. Hopefully it'll be much quicker this time because we've already ran the updates. And you'll notice on that left-hand side, it's now 3 columns across rather than 2. There we go, that was much quicker than the previous one. But that was purely because I ran joining all those web apps for the first time, and it had to run those updates for us. And here we've got some suggested videos based on previous searches. And you can see what's trending. And then we can close the app when we're ready. Okay, I'm going to exit the toolbox. I've also got access to those apps inside of my AAC vocabulary. So if I go into topics, down here, I've created a tile for web apps, and that's very, very easy to do. That will give you very quick access to all of those apps that we have available. And as I said, there's more coming soon. And we can then go into one of these. So I'm going to go into TikTok this time. I've left this on the basic apps because it's already done the updates. It's going to be much quicker than the first time we had run join-in. And then exactly the same as before, we can use the search function on the left-hand side. And search for, maybe I'll pause that video first. There we go. I can search using my vocabulary or using the spelling keyboard, so exactly the same as in YouTube. I'm going to go into my topics, into animals, and search for dog. See if we've got funny in here.
Funny.
And then press finished. With TikTok, it's slightly different in that it doesn't automatically search. You will need to go down into the one that you want using those commands on the left-hand side and enter when you're ready. And here it's put them into tiles for us. I'm just going to accept that cookies. I can then select one of those options. Oh, I need to log in. So I'm not currently logged in on here, but that gives you an idea. There we go. So very similar to before. I pause the video. I could close the post. I could like or unlike it. I could go into who I'm following. I've got access to my volume controls, or I could go up and down posts, so I can skip to the next ones. And then I can close the app when I'm ready. And that works exactly the same way for all these other apps as well. So inside of WhatsApp, I can go in there, I can reply to chats, I can add videos, I can insert emojis or GIFs. Same with Facebook in terms of the way that we navigate that vocabulary, and the same with Facebook Messenger as well. So being able to reply using my vocabulary or a QWERTY keyboard is really important. I'm going to press close apps just to make sure everything is closed. It looks like it is. So select all. I can go back here and close. I mentioned also about the IR commands that we have available. And inside of the Accent, we've got a database of IR remotes for, I would say 99% of all the televisions, DVD players, CD players that are available. So I can very quickly go into IR remotes here. I can add an IR remote. I can choose bedroom TV or create a remote for my bedroom telly. Choose the number of buttons that I want this to span over. So I'm currently in a 36 vocabulary. I'm going to go down to television. Search for the manufacturer of that particular TV. So it's a Samsung. And then here I can test the remotes to make sure I pick the right one for my television. So because I've used this previously, I know that it's remote 6. I can press test, do a quick test on there to make sure that turns on my television. I can go back, choose that once I know it works, and press finish. And then here I can then go into bedroom, and that gives me access to my TV remote on my device with all of these commands already pre-stored in there for us, so we don't have to learn those manually. I'm just checking how long this recording's been going on for. I know we're limited to 30 minutes. It's not showing me on here. Okay, I'm not sure. So if anyone has anyone in mind that you would like to try Empower with on our Accent range of devices, no matter which access method you're using, then please either let myself know. My email address is mick, @liberator.co.uk, or my phone number is 07827 324 286. Let me know and we can arrange either a product demonstration or a loan of one of our products. They're both free of charge and we will support you throughout that process. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now. And I can put my camera back on. So hopefully that was useful and gives you an insight into some of the new features that are available inside of Empower. There's lots more we can look at in terms of vocabularies. We have access to easy chat phrases, Unity, LAMP, a Unity UK PCS version, which is relatively new. And then some other vocabularies will be coming soon as well. So please feel free to reach out. Any questions, please let me know, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much for your time.